Hello, welcome back to the Mobile Motorbike Mechanic channel. I'm Steve, and today we're off to Evesham to work on a VFR 800. We've got some injectors to clean on it, and I think the customer is supplying some parts. I think there's an air filter and some spark plugs to fit as well. So we'll see you when we get there. Right, so here we are, 2007 VFR 800. We're going to change the air filter, the spark plugs. The customer supplied all those parts, are over here. So yeah, air filter, spark plugs. We're doing an injector clean on this one, so we'll get into it. There's the key. Oh, seriously? There it is. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Ooh. So with these tanks, they've got a direct connection to the bottom of the fuel tank, which is a big bolt under here, this one here. So we've got to undo that. Now, I can't remember, I think this doesn't have a fuel cut off. So if you undo that, it will just waz fuel everywhere. So what we need to do is, rather than undo that one, we need to undo the one on the fuel rail, which is around the other side. So if you come around here, see this one here? So we're going to undo this 17mm and we're going to pinch the line. So what we got? We've got a breather there, we've got a breather there. Ooh. There we go. Let's start undoing these. Right, there's a couple of breathers done. A couple of electrical connectors up here that we need to do. Okay. Alright, that's the wiring undone. Got a bit crusty in there. Right, let's find out if it's going to start leaking fuel. It had a splash, but it didn't leak, so that's good. Right. So we should be all disconnected now, except for the main fuel hose. So, back around this side again. A lot of to and fro on this one. So yeah, we just need to get this 17mm here. Right, oh, we're not chucking fuel out, which is good. I'm hoping that's just the fuel that's in the line coming out there, and there's going to be no more, which I think is alright. I think that's all there is. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's get this tank off. On the front of these tanks there's also a little like a safety wire, almost like a, to stop it being opened. I don't know why they put them on. So you just gotta make sure you undo that before you can take the tank off. So this tank's gonna leak if we set it backwards. So what we're gonna do, set it down and put it on some blocks of wood, just like that. If you set it flat, it'll run out of the return, and trust me, it does run out. Oh. Ask me how we know. Look at the puddle under the bike. Well, there we go. Right, anyway, tank's off. Oh right, okay, so this bike looks to have had the flapper mod done. So somebody's taped up the flapper valve. So get the airbox off, then like I say, we can get to the plugs. These are the rear two plugs. Front two plugs are a bit of a pain to get to, but we'll get to them as well. And we want to get the injectors out and get them cleaned. So we'll start by removing the airbox. Now the customer has told me that the front of this airbox is damaged, so at least we don't have to worry too much if we see some damage, because he's already told me about it. There we go, get that off. Let's see what he's done. Oh, I see, yeah, it's snapped just there. Old air filter out. It's not looking too bad condition, that one. So now we're starting to get down into the guts of things. So we'll get this airbox off, and then we can look at the injectors. It's pretty straightforward getting everything apart, and just make sure it's loose. And what I tend to do is just leave bits in place, so then you know which one of these is going to go where when you come to put it back together. No, that's all four of those. And as you can see, the whole airbox wants to come out now, so we've got to undo a few bits and pieces, so we'll do that next. Just undo a few clips and a few wiring bits and mobs, and take a few bits off. Out you come, you bigger. Vacuum line there. I've got to get him off. There we go. Power of persuasion. Another one gone. What else we got down here? There we go. as these come off there, we'll pop him back on there. And then we know that one goes on there. And we're still hooked up round the back here. Why aren't we hooked up round the back here? Ah. Another sensor to unplug. There we go. And then just this final one to sort out. That's the bottom of the airbox released. We had a clip in the electrical connector in the middle of that, holding that on. Right, so these are the injectors here. You got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So those are what we want to get out. So held in by 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. We'll take the fuel rail out and then we can get the injectors out. The fuel rail is now loose. All we're going to do is gently pull up. Yeah, we're going to get some fuel out of this. Hang on. We will get some fuel out of this. There we go. So we just gently pulled up to release the injectors. And what we want to do, we just need to release each of the wiring plugs. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that's the fuel rail released, and then we're just going to gently pull out each injector in turn. Now, to service injectors, ideally you'd be changing the filter in the end of the injector here, and you might also want to be looking at changing the rubbers. But all we're going to do on these is we're just going to purge them through, clean them and refit them. Right, fuel injector cleaning kit. So we've got the correct end for the fuel injector, so it just clips in, and then we need to find the correct plug for the injector itself. Ah, there you go. First time lucky. So all we do with this lead is connect it to the injector. It's just got a little 9-volt battery on it, and then you can, oh, actually, sure you can hear that clicking. So the injector's working. So all we're going to do is we're going to blow some, or squirt some, this is carb cleaner, but carb injector cleaner into this. It blows it out and it will just come out the end of the injector. Quick and simple cleaning process. There we go. So there we go. So quick and simple, that one. So we'll just lubricate all the O-rings back up, pop that one back in, and we'll carry on and do the other 3. Here are the cleaned injectors. So we're just going to pop the seals on the bottom of the injectors. So each seal gets a bit of red rubber grease, and all that's going to do is just going to help us fit everything back together again. Here's a little bit of lube to let it slide together. And we've also greased these O-rings at the top here as well. So injectors going in. So injector going in. Now when you remove these injectors, these base seals, these little ones, they might pop out and fall down, so just keep an eye on that. Make sure that doesn't happen to you, because if it does, you'll need to go fishing for them, which is a pain in the ass. That's it, that's our last one in there. So now all we need to do is refit the fuel rail on the top. So this is our fuel rail. Just going to make sure that we're not disturbing any of the seals in here. It just quite happily slides on. Ooh, we need that little connector up in the middle there. And then pop it on. Should be a, you know, not like really forcing it on. If you're really forcing it on, one of those O-rings in there is probably folded over, and you don't want that. Just pop the bolts in there. Give it a little visual inspection, make sure that all of the injectors and their connectors look right, feel right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So we can pop the airbox back on again now, and then we can get on with changing the air filter and changing the plugs. Interestingly enough, on the VFR, the two front spark plugs are here. 1, 2. So they're seriously awkward to get to. Just for ease of access, whilst the airbox is out, we're going to get into these two front plugs, because I can get my hands in both sides. So these are easier to do from the front of the bike rather than the top of the bike, but with the airbox off, it just lets a whole load of light in so you can see what you're doing more easily. Alright, that's the coil packs, or the coil on plugs gone, so we just need to get the spark plugs out now. Ooh, definitely second hand, that one. Yeah, I haven't seen a plug that bad for quite a while actually, so yeah. Let's go get the new plugs. Right, a couple of new NGK Iridium plugs. Let's just have a quick look. Match them up. Yeah, definitely. State of that. YMR 9B9H. Yep, exactly the same. They look the same. All good. So we'll get those two. YMR 9B9H. Yep. Okay, we'll get those fitted. You do have to do quite a lot of this job by feel, because if you see where my head is, I'm just looking at the fairing. So you're not gonna, you don't want to be sort of sticking a, you know, a ratchet or anything on these bolts just because you can't see them, because if you start wanging a ratchet on them and tightening everything up, you don't know if it's cross-threaded or anything. So you need to be doing everything by feel, gently first. There we go, that'll do it. And the last job is just to fold that cable grip back over there. Right, front two plugs done. We'll go to the back and do the back two. We've done the front two plugs, we're going to do the rear two plugs. Just notice they've got different fasteners on for some reason. So So rather than 10mm bolts, they've got Allen head bolts on these ones. It's the same process as before. We're just going to take the coil on plug sticks out, remove the plugs and put the new ones in. Not rusty at all, but very worn. So these are the new plugs. Right, so we're going to go refit the airbox now. When we took the airbox off, there was a little bit of rubbish that fell down inside these throttle bodies. So we've just taken the airline and blown that all out now, so they're all nice and clean. So we'll get this refitted, and yeah, hopefully it'll all be good. So to refit the airbox, first things first, we need to refit this connector under here. There we go. And all the other hoses and pipes and bits and pieces should just fall into place. There we go. So that one's on there, that one's on there, that one we know goes there, that one goes there, and there was one little one up the front here. There's two little ones up the front here actually. It doesn't matter if we don't plug that in. Right. I'm just doing one screw per throttle body just to settle the airbox in. And once that one screw's done on each of them, I'll go around and do the other one. That one was clearly not connected, but the rest of them we do need to get back in. Get that connector in there first. Yeah. Should have one more for the tank. There it is. Right, so we've got 2 for the tank, 3 for the tank, 4, 5 for the tank. That one wasn't connected. That was all taped up. That was all taped up. And we've got the brand new air filter. So we'll pop the new one in. So if that's sitting all nicely down on the tray, which it is, we'll pop the lid on. Just have a quick look inside the lid, make sure there's no nasties in there, which there aren't, so that's good. There we go. There we go, that's all back to as it was. So there was one screw missing and one screw broken, but like I say, the customer told us about that, so all done. So we'll get the tank back on again, and that should be us done. Right. So hopefully not leaking. No, not leaking at the minute, which is good. No, we've got a bit of a drip this side. So yeah, these fuel tanks, they do tend to leak quite merrily because there's no cut off inside the fuel tank. So as soon as you undo these, they're just going to leak. So luckily this fuel tank was quite low on fuel. So what we've done is, you can see, blocked it up at the back so that most of the fuels run forward. So you can't really take these fuel tanks off by hinging them up like you would normally from the front. Yeah, so just be aware of that. If you're going to do this job and take your fuel tank off, you need to make sure your fuel's quite low in the tank. Right, so we need to get this fuel line back onto this fuel fitting in here. So what we're going to do, we've got a brand new pair of copper washers. So we've taken the old washers off. So we're going to put a new washer in. Let's do that. 100% guaranteed to drop it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on there. Feed that in, and then just roll it down on there. And then we can feed the line in. There we go, that's the line in. And then another new copper washer. The nut on the top. Right, there is a detent that the banjo bolt on the fuel line fitting locks into. There we go. He's tight. So that's that one tightened up. This is the lower pressure return. Just going to go onto that on there. There you go. You just need to do that clip, refit the breather hoses, and then we just need to do the electrical connectors. So that's all the pipes connected back on the tank. So last job is to pop these bolts in at the rear. And then we've got to hinge up the front and reconnect the strap that's underneath the front of the tank. So now we can hinge the front of the tank up and like I say, reconnect this is the bolt for the safety strap that we need to put in. We've got the tank hinged up, so this is the safety strap that we need to reattach to the frame. So we'll just find a suitable place to put it. There we go. Right. So, got a bolt and a washer. Come around here. You see it just bolts into the frame just there. Yeah, just there on the frame. Fine FI light. Right, let's try this again. Hopefully we've cleared the FI light now. Yep, there we go. FI light is no longer illuminated, so ticking over a lot better as well. Very responsive. So we just spoke to the owner, and he said previously this bike was ticking over between 1100 and 3000 RPM sporadically. So cleaning those injectors through has helped enormously. The reason the FI light was on is because I'd forgotten to plug something in, which happens. So we just quickly popped the tank back up again, found what would not plugged in, plugged it back in again, and we're all good. So as you can hear, bike's ticking over absolutely spot on. Nice steady 1200 RPM tick over on this one. Very responsive on the throttle. So we're going to call that one done. So thank you very much for watching to the end of the video. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification for regular updates, and we'll see you again on the next one.